Hey there, and welcome to an item guide written by Funkyfall, taking a deeper look at power treads and tread switching. Power treads are one of the several upgrades to Boots of Speed, and while it seems like these are very basic and boring items, there's actually quite a lot to know about the humble power treads. First off, let's briefly talk about how power treads are built and what exactly they do. To build power treads, you'll of course need Boots of Speed, as already mentioned, as well as Gloves of Haste, and either a Belt of Strength, or, which isn't obvious to everyone, one of the medium stat items for the other attributes, namely Band of Elven Skin or Robe of the Magi, which can also be used to complete your power treads. Compared to its components, power treads provide the same movement speed as Boots of Speed, a little more attack speed than Gloves of Haste provides on its own, and a bonus of 10 instead of 6 to your given attribute. And here comes the real treat. The active ability of power treads allows you to change the attribute to which it provides its bonuses. Your choice of either plus 10 strength, plus 10 agility, or plus 10 intelligence. This is what is commonly referred to as tread switching. There is no cost to changing your power treads, it doesn't cost any mana and does not have a cooldown, and it doesn't give any charges to an opponent's magic wand either. However, you still can't use it while you are stunned or using channeled abilities. The current state of your power treads is displayed by their color, corresponding to the attribute that is boosted at that moment. Red, green, or blue, for strength, agility, and intel. Now, what is so special about this, and why is it so useful? On a basic level, power treads allow you to adapt to different situations and get a little boost to the attribute that you currently need. For example, as an agility hero, you would usually want to have your power treads set to agility, as both the extra damage and attack speed help you to farm faster. However, if you are deep on the enemy side of the map at that moment and maybe fear an incoming gank, you can switch your power treads to strength, which will give you almost 200 extra health. Additionally, many strength heroes with slow attack speed but already pretty high base damage like Sven, Chaos Knight, or Tiny may rather have their power treads on agility for the extra attack speed, instead of using their primary attribute. To understand the more advanced concepts of tread switching, we first have to take a little dive into the mechanics of Dota. Specifically, how changes to your maximum health or mana pool affect your current health and mana. Since strength affects your maximum health pool, and intelligence affects the maximum mana you can have, switching your power treads to or from strength or intelligence will either increase or decrease your maximum health or mana pools. This being by a flat plus 180 health, or plus 120 mana each, unless strength or intelligence are the hero's main attribute. However, your current health and mana are affected differently, and this is because the percentage of health or mana that you currently have will always remain the same, no matter how your maximum health or mana is tweaked. To illustrate that, let's say you currently have 500 of 1000 health. You're at 50%, and your power treads are set to strength. When switching your treads away from strength, losing the plus 10 strength bonus will decrease your maximum health by 180, dropping it from 1000 down to 820. Your current health, however, which was 500 before, will not decrease by 180, but instead stay at the same percentage, that being 50% of your maximum health pool, so you would be at 410 health out of 820 after switching your treads, thus losing 90 health. The same is true for mana. When you switch your power treads to intelligence, you increase your maximum mana pool, all while your current mana stays at the same percentage, which is a higher total amount now that your mana pool has also been increased. Now let's get back to how you can actually use this to gain an advantage in your games. By switching your power treads to intelligence right before using an ability or item that costs mana, you will effectively have spent less mana to cast the ability once you switch back to your original attribute. Also, when you switch to intelligence, your current mana will increase by a little bit, so you might sometimes just get enough mana to cast that last spell by switching to intelligence. To further clarify with another example, let's say you currently have 220 of 880 mana, which is 25%, with your power treads set on strength, and you want to use an ability that costs 100 mana to keep things simple. If you just use it right away, you'll end up with 120 remaining mana out of 880, which is around 13.6% remaining. However, if you first switch your treads to intelligence before casting the ability, your max mana pool goes up to 1000. Your current mana remains the same percentage of 25%, resulting in 250 of 1000 mana. Now if you use your ability for 100 mana, you will end up with 150 mana remaining out of 1000, that being 15%. Then imagine that once again you were to switch back to strength, again keeping the percentage of your current mana. In this scenario, you will be left with 132 out of 880 mana, whereas you effectively spent 12 more mana to cast your ability without tread switching. Saving 12 mana may not seem like a lot, but when you consider that you'll be using most of your abilities dozens or even hundreds of times each game, saving a little bit of mana each time you do adds up a lot over time. Especially on heroes with limited mana pools that still have somewhat expensive abilities to cast, tread switching constantly can mean the world and make the difference between you getting off another stun as Sven and killing the entire enemy team with a well-timed crit. Or, of course, running out of mana way earlier because you didn't tread switch and instead getting kited to death. The only cost you have to pay is discipline, and you need to practice and get used to tread switching regularly to make it second nature, and not to distract you from the game at hand. Saving mana for your abilities is great, but it won't be effective if you need to look down at your power treads hotkey first every time and end up missing your spell. The way current and maximum health and mana pools work can also be used the other way around, with the help of consumables or other sources of regeneration. Most sources of health and mana regen are flat values, meaning they either directly increase it by a certain value or add a number of health or mana per second to your total max health or mana. So if you decrease your maximum health pool before using such items, the shrine, or even before getting healed by a teammate, you can effectively heal more health or restore more mana. Just as we effectively used less mana to cast our abilities in the previous example, but in this case, you want to switch away from strength when regenerating health and away from intelligence when restoring mana. Needless to say, if you restore both at the same time using a bottle, magic wand, or the shrine for example, you want to have your power treads on agility. Besides tread switching, you can also backpack or drop, if you feel safe enough to do so, some of your other stat or raw health or mana increasing items, such as your null talismans or your arcane boots, to regenerate even more efficiently. An interesting interaction with how your current and maximum health change when tread switching is Ancient Apparition's ultimate, Ice Blast. While affected by it, you cannot gain any health. So when you are switching away from strength, you will lose a little bit of health as your strength decreases. But when you then switch back to strength, you will not receive that health back, as Ice Blast prevents you from doing so, making it so you could easily kill yourself by repeatedly tread switching under the effects of Ice Blast. There are also sources that regenerate your health or mana by a percentage of your maximum health pool, making it so decreasing your max health or mana by tread switching doesn't really make a difference. Notable examples of regeneration that is based on a percentage of your max health and mana are the Fountain, Regeneration Runes, as well as Winter Wyvern's Cold Embrace and the active ability of Spirit Vessel. Although both Cold Embrace and Spirit Vessel also provide a small flat regeneration bonus, which could be used more efficiently by tread switching away from strength. Now, a thing that needs to be said about tread switching or dropping and backpacking other stat items while regenerating is that since patch 7.07, strength and intelligence now directly impact how much health or mana you are regenning from sources like healing salves, clarity potions, or bottle charges. The more strength you have, the more health you will get from using a healing salve and mana regen with bottle charges. This raises the question whether tread switching while using regeneration items is still efficient. Should you keep your power treads set to strength when using items such as healing salve, or should you be switching them away? After extensive research, we can safely say that using items like bottle or salves is always more efficient and will heal you for more if you switch your treads away from strength before using them, as the little bit of heal amplification you would get from the extra strength does not outweigh the additional effective HP that you would get from tread switching before healing. Now let's move away from regeneration and talk about some other tips and tricks with tread switching. There are a few abilities for which it is not as clear-cut whether you should be tread switching to intelligence when using them, or rather keep them on your primary attribute. An example of this would be an ability that costs mana to summon illusions. As an agility hero, you might want to create a stronger illusion with higher attack speed and damage by using the ability with your treads on agility. Such a hero is Terrorblade, who typically buys power treads and will need to decide whether he wants to use Conjure Image with his treads on Intel to preserve mana, or on Agility to farm more efficiently. Another example would be Phantom Lancer, though his illusions do not last as long as Terrorblade's and are mostly created passively. There is actually a nice little trick you can do with his Phantom Lance ability. Cast it with your treads on Intelligence to conserve a little mana, and then quickly switch to Agility before the lance hits, and the illusion will spawn with his power treads on Agility. In a similar way, you could cast Phantom Assassin's Stifling Dagger with treads on Intelligence, and then switch to Agility before impact, although power treads aren't too common on Phantom Assassin. If you want to be super efficient with your tread switching, you can also switch to Agility to move faster. Patch 7.07 also made it so Agility affects your movement speed. However, the benefits are pretty small. With 350 movement speed, you would get a mere 2 extra movement speed by switching to Agility. Overall, there is much more to power treads than meets the eye, and they offer many opportunities to be a little more efficient and save some mana or get a little extra value from your healing salves. They can give you just the attribute boost you need at that moment to either survive a gank or dish out a little more damage. To get better at tread switching, first make sure to have your hotkeys properly set up. Ideally, you want to always have your power treads in the same inventory slot and make a habit of quickly hitting that inventory hotkey once or twice to switch to intelligence every time you want to cast a spell, and then reverting your treads to their original state. This may seem a little overwhelming at first, but it is all a matter of time and practice. If you stay consistent and try to be as efficient as you can be with your tread switching, it will soon become second nature to you and not require any special attention. To give you a brief summary of what you should take away from this guide, you can save mana or heal more efficiently by switching your power treads to intelligence before using an ability that costs mana, and when healing or restoring mana, away from the attribute that increases those, being strength and intelligence. While you will often want to keep your power treads on your primary attribute for the additional damage, you can freely switch them to improve whichever attribute you currently need the most. Be it strength for some extra health, agility for more attack or movement speed, and intelligence to use abilities more efficiently. This is about going to do it for this item guide. I want to thank you for watching. Hope that you learned something new. Drop your thoughts and comments down below, and we'll see all of you guys in the next one.